You remember the shooting at the Inflation nightclub July 8 down King Street? Made news, in fact, around the world. The critical incident response team from the Victorian Police shot at a couple who were dressed as comic book villains at a swingers party. It's alleged the police thought one of the two had a gun, which is now believed to be a toy gun, a plastic gun. It's reported in the Age that a couple is now suing police. Now, I earlier spoke to the licensee of Inflation nightclub, Martha Samos. It's a rare interview. She rarely speaks to the media, and she says she's traumatised, along with several staff members. We talked about how the staff are going, how the police behave, what happens now. Martha Samos is the licensee of the Inflation nightclub, and I began this recorded interview, of course, by thanking her for talking to me.
Good morning, Neil. How are you?
I'm okay. Now, we've got two victims suing here. Is there any possibility that you, as licensee of Inflation, could do the same?
Definitely.
On what grounds? Why would you sue?
Well, basically, after the incident, I think the incident will unfold, and the public will have a better understanding of what really happened. We've got staff who are traumatised. We've got patrons who are also, I'm not suing on behalf of patrons, but we've also got patrons that will have their concerns. As far as our concerned, the matter was completely an overreaction, and it's caused some stress to our staff members, management. There's some staff that have already gone on mental health plans, and there is some staff that have got work cover claims that are being processed at the moment.
Really? So you do have staff traumatised by it?
Of course. There was staff that were there right next to where it all unfolded. There was staff facing the incident, and also, there's some young, vulnerable people that go to work and not expect to see this.
So that will be a civil action, obviously, that you'll take?
Yes, of course.
What about yourself? Has it affected you? Has it affected your business?
It's twofold. I mean, as far as business, look, there was quite a few people that were saying adverse comments about us having, the security being negligent by confiscating a plastic toy. I mean, look, it was a fancy dress party. They're held regularly at our venue. The object was vetted by security. And there was no complaints on the night, to be criticised for a toy that's sold at Toys R Us and, costume shops. Maybe that if people have got concerns with that, maybe the government should ban them across Victoria, and raid all the toy stores, and, we shouldn't be blamed for an event that happens 4 times a year and is controlled and managed with security, and to be criticised by the public is hard to hear, and hard for the staff to hear when they know that's not what happened. Also, considering that, the way it was all unfolded, and we had no control, we'd lost power of the whole situation, was difficult for the staff because they wanted to actually intervene and go and deal with the matter, but we weren't allowed to.
You say the gun is that much of a toy? Is it? It's not a genuine replica. The one you saw, it was really just a toy from Toys R Us.
That's correct. It was plastic. It was the security held it, had a look at it. When you do come into our venue, when you have, especially fancy dress parties, there's swords or belts or horns. We look at everything. There's a costume. There's a cloakroom area, and that's where everything is vetted.
So why were the police called? Do you know?
Oh, that's a really good question. They claim there was a 000 phone call. I've actually the only place I actually heard that was on the night, and it has been reported in the Herald Sun also. I have asked the Herald Sun what sort of how did that all come about? Who contacted them regarding that? Because apparently a jilted lover has made that claim, but I've got my doubts.
So was the gun being waved around, or was the toy gun being waved around within the venue or not?
As far as security and everyone were concerned, it was just a costume. It was part of his costume. There was different people that had different objects like that. There was no one came up and complained and said, we feel threatened, or we don't like this person having it in front of him, or we just didn't receive any complaints apart from the police out the front claiming about a 000 phone call.
When you say your staff wanted to intervene, was that your security staff, or what was that?
When it actually happened, security actually came downstairs because the gentleman that they identified, the security actually knew who they were talking about. So they said, look, we can go up and talk to him because we've spoken to him throughout the night. He's been lovely. He's been keeping to himself with his girlfriend. We're happy to go up and ask him for it. And they said no.
Why?
Well, I think initially the security guard was asked to stay outside because I think they weren't sure whether they were maybe friends, or I'm not really sure. There were so many members out the front, and there's so many different people asking to do different things. It was really confusing. It was really, the whole situation was a little bit out of control. There was no one really in charge.
Okay. Before the critical response police turned up, did uniform police turn up and try to ask to come in or anything?
The uniform police were the first ones on the scene, and they were growing in numbers. They were the people we first spoke to. Then there was more plainclothes police, and then there was the darker vested police. It just grew. It got to the stage where we didn't know who was who. There was police in the office watching the gentleman because I think the understanding was they'll wait till he came downstairs and then talk to him when he came downstairs and, deal with it that way. There was a bit of a conflicting story how it was going to unfold, and we sort of were powerless towards the end there.
So what, they were watching him on CCTV, were they?
One group was watching him in the office. The other group outside, we'd taken our phones outside to show them that he was still sitting there an hour later. We're offering floor plans to show them that they could go in from different points to go and have a look upstairs. They never once went upstairs to have a look. We offered to give a security tag to pretend that they were security to walk past him because I'd walked past him 3 or 4 times, so did all my staff. We didn't find him a threat. He was keeping to himself. So we were at their mercy on what they wanted to do as far as how to control the situation.
Did you hear the shooting itself?
Yes, I did.
How many shots?
I heard 3 shots.
And did they all hit him, do you know?
I was told, because of course, once that happened, you sort of want to know what happened there, and I was told that he pulled out a gun and he was shot. And then I was told when he was made to walk down the stairs that he was shot twice. And then the girl came down the stairs and her leg was bandaged and she was shot in the leg. But from what I understand, she was shot twice. I don't know.
But you heard a total of 3 shots?
I heard 3, but there's 4 injuries.
Yeah, I guess one shot can hit both people if they were close together.
That's right. Apparently that's what happened.
Okay, well, what happened? What do you want to happen now?
Look, at the moment, I think the welfare of my staff is my number one priority, and I've got a staff member who has a baby, and she thought she wouldn't see her baby again. There's some people that are really quite, they're a bit of a mess. So I think that's my first priority at the moment. I mean, the legal side of it, the lawyers can take care of that, but at the moment, I don't know, I just think I haven't heard from the police. The only contact we had with the police was really on the weekend when we had an officer come in and ask us, what do we have in place for a costume party toys next time? Like, seriously, what have you got in place about protecting us?
So you haven't actually been interviewed by the police?
I did an interview on the night. We're redoing our interviews because our statements were very... on the night, it was difficult to do full statements. There's quite a few people that haven't done statements. That's the other issue. That haven't come to see everyone. So we're getting all our statements redone by our lawyers, and we'll hand them over to the other legal team so they've got them.
Look, it's up to the police investigation and the courts, of course, but obviously the allegation is developing here that a mistake has been made. Mistakes happen. The question then is whether all due care was taken in the process. What's your view?
Not at all. I think initially, yes, there was a concern for a 000 phone call, but people that are trained normally go and do reconnaissance and go upstairs and have a look and suss out the situation. I think that was not done. I think that was a failure. I think also maybe we could have intervened and just gone up there and just gone and spoken to the gentleman ourselves. Maybe we could have done that, but we were told not to. I think it was just not, it was a little bit all over the place, and if these are the people that are trained, I have some concerns about that.
Thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you so much, Neil.